Pro.
Semi-professional, if I can put it. And yeah, and I'm in academia. I work with AMREF International University as a clinical instructor in physiotherapy. So mostly I'm in academia currently. Yes.
So where we can find you is AMREF University?
Yes, you can find me at AMREF International University. That is where I'm located and based. I work there full time. Yes.
So you are a trained physiotherapist?
Yes.
Now, you see, there are many people out here who don't understand what physiotherapy is, who is a physiotherapist. And there is a confusion between physiotherapy and when you go to town and you get some good massage pale kwa massage pala. Yeah. Kuna difference?
Yes, there is a difference, and I can agree with you that generally many people have not understood what is physiotherapy. In our setup here in Kenya and maybe mostly in Africa, physiotherapy has not picked up very well, and this is the time when a lot of physiotherapy people are now beginning to understand what is physiotherapy. So sometimes people will tend to say, oh, physiotherapy is massage and all that, and I think they take it back to where physiotherapy started in the Second World War, where massage was the main. But to take you back, many people can say physiotherapy. We normally use these names alternatively. You can say physiotherapy. It can be physical therapy. At the same time, others call kinesiotherapy, which just means movement. So if I can define, maybe for my viewers, what physiotherapy is a science-based healthcare profession that is focused on human function and movement by utilizing physical potential or your physical potential. So our core as physiotherapists is movement. So then lastly, just to, if you allow me, from the word therapy. Therapy means treatment. So we are not just using these physical means or maybe the movement anyhowly. We are using it as a treatment. So we are using the physical means as a treatment. Yes.
Mm. And when you say movement, so you're basically looking at the structures in the human body that are involved in movement, which include the muscles?
Yes, I agree with you. That when I say movement, as a physiotherapy, first of all, being a medical course, like you have to go through the training, like you have to understand how is the body made up, or what is the body made up of, and how is the makeup of the body. Then from that, like you really have to understand anatomy, you need to understand the physiology, and you need to understand even the social aspect of the human body. So that as you are using the movement, like you've understood how does these structures move, you utilize that now as a form of treatment. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. What does it take for one to become a physiotherapist?
Great. So for you to become a physiotherapist, as I've said, it's a healthcare profession, and in any profession, we know as a profession you have to go through training. It can't be like where you inherit or you get it from someone where you just hand over, this is physiotherapy, you are a physiotherapist. So for you to become a physiotherapist in our country here as Kenya, or even worldwide, you have to go through training, and there are various categories of training that in Kenya you can begin maybe from diploma, which can take 3.5 years or 3, depending with the college or the university where you are. You can as well join as a direct or fresh entry to do a bachelor's, that is a degree, which takes 4 years program. And then from there, now you can climb up the ladder of a profession. So in this training, for you to become a physiotherapist, you can either join a college, you can join a university. Those are the two institutions that you can take to become a physiotherapist.
All right.
Yes.
Now let's talk about your scope of practice. By scope, I mean like what do you deal with every day? You come to the office or to the hospital, there are different range of patients and conditions, diseases to say that you attend to.
Once a patient reports to us, to our clinic, or maybe even if it is not a clinic, whenever a patient presents to you, there are those who normally like calling you or reaching you. First of all, you will have to begin by doing an assessment. So an assessment entails you are trying to find where is the root, or what is the root cause of this problem that the patient has come to me. It can be a patient, or it can be a normal person, a sports person has presented to you, maybe is unfit, he wants to achieve a certain goal. So you have to begin by doing an assessment, first of all, to get the baseline where you are going to begin. After an assessment, you do a diagnosis. You come up with a diagnosis that I've found this is a problem that I'm going to deal with, and then now you offer the treatment. So, and when it comes to treatment, there are various now categories based with what you found out. Like now, if for example is a movement problem, let's say this person is not able to walk, what am I going to do? If it is pain, there are various ways that you are going to address that pain using the physical means, or maybe electrotherapeutic modalities like some machines, or maybe some drugs in conjunction with a doctor. And if it doesn't fit under your scope, then you refer now to the respective person. You can refer back to a specialist so that he sends you back to you.
All right. So what are some of these common conditions that you attend to, if you can name them?
So if I mention some of these conditions that as physiotherapists that we encounter in our day-to-day duty or activities, one of them, the leading, is a low back pain. So you find that most people will present to you with low back pain, and then the second, maybe on that you can find stroke patients. Then you can come, third, you find some chronic conditions, which can be osteoarthritis, or a patient comes to you, tells you, oh, I have some joints problem. When I try to climb the stairs and all that is a bit difficult, which can be age-related and all that. Then we have injuries or sports injuries. Maybe someone was exercising or working out in a gym, and then he or she can tear the tendon or something. He can get sprains. So those are what we encounter. And then lastly is more about like the medical conditions. Sometimes maybe someone has been, is diabetic, or maybe has some other condition or hypertension. He wants to get maybe to work out or to go back to his normal duties. So those are some of the conditions that we get. And lastly, the ones maybe post-surgery, or maybe, for example, there is a procedure that you have undergone, maybe you've done some surgery and you need now to go back to your normal. Those are what we encounter a lot, especially in hospitals. So we come in contact most of the time with those.
Wow. All right. So if we can go ahead and talk about some of those that you have mentioned, just a bit more expounding. You said that it seems like the leading one is what is the low back pain. Yeah. If we can talk about that more, who are commonly the people who come with concerns of low back pain?
So for the low back pain, you find a majority of them, maybe for example, you'll find it's more of teachers, police officers, and even us as healthcare providers, like nurses, even sometimes the physiotherapy themselves, like we fall a lot in that bracket. And I can try and maybe attribute that to work-related, because maybe, for example, for a teacher, maybe you are standing for long, your work involves teaching and all that. For nurses, maybe the lifting technique or movement, the way you do your work can put you to be prone maybe to that condition. So that is like the main cause to that low back pain. Yeah.
Now, and when we talk about the different professions, what about the people who work in offices? There are no concerns?
Yeah, there are a lot of concerns, especially those who work in offices. Like you'll find maybe their work require them to sit for a very long time, like from morning to evening someone is just sitting. Because of that prolonged sitting position and all that, you get to tire your core muscles or your back muscles and all that. So that also can bring the low back pain. So at the same time, you can also look at the equipments that you are using. For example, the chair in relation to the table, and even most of them you can find they are not ergonomically okay or right. So that when they are sitting, maybe they are straining some muscles and are utilizing others, which can precipitate to that back pain that is happening.
Okay. Now, what about the people in construction? If you'll compare those of us who work in office settings, kind of in different industries, and somebody who is in the construction and lifting a lot of weight, or in the farm, who among us has more back pain problem?
I think looking at that, you'll find most of the time those who work in office setups who are doing long-term sitting, or maybe their work entails maintaining one position for long, they are more prone. So the reason being, for example, those who are working in construction site, rarely will you find them coming to you with back pain. And physiologically, I think the reason can be because these people in a construction site, most of the time they involve a lot of movement or changing position. So they can't maintain one position for a very long time. So they keep on changing, and then most of the time the work they do is like they are doing more of the time strengthening of their muscles. So you find that their core stabilizers and the muscles that maintain the back are strong to hold their muscle. Unlike this person who sits for a very long time, just maintaining one position, that's why I'm saying is training some muscles and underutilizing others. So that's why this person who sits for long, or maybe does a work that is maybe standing for long, is prone to this back pain. So, and with that, that's why we can say most of the time, those working in construction site, they are less prone to back pain as compared to that.
You see, that's ironic, because we will expect somebody who is training their back to have the back pain, but it's the other way.
It's the other way around, because with them it's like mostly they are conditioning those muscles to strain or to maybe strengthen. The only thing most of the time when you get cases from maybe a construction site or those ones who are working out, it could be only due to poor body mechanic. Maybe he lifted the weight wrongly, or maybe it was a sudden move, or maybe just turned without maybe proper planning. So you will find most of the time there are those injuries that are related to maybe body mechanics, but not specifically maybe to the work or the way they do or sit. Yes.
I see. Wow. Now, so what options are there for somebody who is suffering from back pain? How, when they come to you, how do you help them?
Okay, those who have back pain, for example, when they present to us as physiotherapists, first of all, you will have to find out like which type of this back pain, or where is this back pain, for example, coming from? Where is the root cause? Just what we mentioned earlier, like you want to make a diagnosis, because when we look at that back pain specifically, there will be various types of back pain. There are those that are maybe due to degeneration, maybe age-related. There are those that are due to work-related. For example, someone has presented to you, maybe it's because of sitting, as we've mentioned, or there are those that maybe it could be medically related. Once you've done a diagnosis, what we do now as physios, for example, in terms of treatment, like if it is pain, maybe that is causing this, that is of main concern, we will try to teach this patient, first of all, to educate the patient or the person about the problem, that your problem is because maybe related to work, or your problem is related to age, and then it might take these steps to correct it. First of all, we educate, try to correct on body mechanics. If it is sitting, how are you supposed to sit? Are you just sitting for a very long time, bending or leaning forward? Or are you sitting there? Those who will sit this way in a sofa or try to bend. So first of all, we just try to educate them on that. Then two, if it is very severe, there are those that will use maybe some electrotherapeutic modalities, like some machines maybe to correct pain, for instance, maybe TENS, or maybe what we call thermal or heat therapy. In this case, that you are just trying to relax the muscles around to enhance blood flow and all that. And then from that, there are some exercises that you give this person that are tailored to his problem, or that is not increasing the problem. For example, if it is someone who has a problem maybe with bending, then now you try to focus more on extension exercises. And then at the same time, you try to give exercises on strengthening of those muscles so that it can hold his back very well. Otherwise, if we just give exercises without putting that in mind, we might be causing more problem. And these exercises that we normally give, they are quantified. Like you have to give, for example, if it is extension, how many times are you doing that? If it is, let's say, for example, just jogging, or maybe core stabilizing, like doing plank and all that, how long are you trying to do that? And then you progress slowly, or pole-pole, the way we say in Swahili, you progress pole-pole. You don't come today and you expect to sort it.
Sort it once.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we are going to pause there. We will take a break. And when we're back, we continue the conversation. And next, we'll talk about stroke. Stay tuned.
Praise the Lord and welcome to our Safer Sunday worship experience.
Kwa hivyo sauti ya Mungu haijalishi katikati ya umati ama wapi. Hiyo sauti aliyekusudiwa kusikia ndiye ataisikia
peke yake.
Na Mungu siku zote hutembea katika sauti.
Join us every Sunday 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Nairobi is becoming a very dangerous place.
Mimi nadhani hido ndio ilifanya brother wangu akauawa.
Sasa hizi sina tuko nazo. Okay, but si we are dead.
Tell me where my money is and I'll make this quick and painless.
Mnajua kuna mtu atatoka hapa kabla nione ganji eh?
Hata afadhali tuichome.
Nitakuangusha hapa hivi saa hii.
I am so excited to have joined MKU. The flexibility in the payment of fees makes education very affordable.
With over 165 fully accredited programs and the state-of-art learning facilities, you literally have the world in your hands in terms of career choice.
The learning is not only uninterrupted, but also supported through ICT. And within no time, you're done with your studies.
Join us and start your career journey.
Welcome back. You are watching Body Garage, the Art of Wellbeing. I'm your host, Dr. Chepsi, and today we are talking about physiotherapy. Now, we have talked about one of the common problems of low back pains, and I believe that you've learned a few things in there. Now, we're talking about stroke. Most of the time, stroke will be termed like you go to see a doctor, but how can somebody who has had a stroke benefit from physiotherapy services? And maybe you have your relative who is suffering from stroke and you never knew that they might benefit. So, Martin, so how come that stroke and physiotherapy somebody with stroke can benefit from physiotherapy services?
Yeah, so I think a stroke patient can really benefit from physiotherapy. The reason why I'm saying this is because we see that physiotherapy, we focus with movement and function. This person, when he suffers stroke, we know that depending with the level or the severity of the stroke, he loses some functions or some movement. You can find one who has maybe one side paralysis or weakness of one side. There is that one maybe who might have some difficulty with speech or doing some activities of daily living. So we come in as physiotherapists whereby we are trying to train this person to go back to normal or close to normal. You initiate physiotherapy in a stroke patient early, that we get very good results. And you can agree with me, Daktari, that this is a interprofessional or multidisciplinary approach whereby we found the cause of the problem or the cause of the stroke. You as a doctor, you've addressed, for example, if it was hypertension or if it was a thrombi that caused this, that you have addressed that. Now we want to look at the function or the activities of this patient. Like the first week after maybe the stroke and the causative agents have been addressed or the problem has been resolved, then now we focus. For example, this patient, most of the time you will find the severe cases, they can't turn, they can't move in bed. As physiotherapists, we are specialists in that we come and train this patient in bed mobility. Like how will you move in bed? How will you try to roll or to turn in bed? When you want to come into sitting, which are the positions that you are supposed to take when you are doing those movements? At the same time, like you find this person maybe has lost balance, like he can't sit on his own. We have to look at positioning of this patient on that wheelchair, or maybe if he's walking now after the sitting has been achieved, we need to see how will this person move from one point to another. So this is a very complex process that is step by step that a physiotherapy can help this patient get from one point or maybe inability to becoming very able doing the activities that he used to do. So this is what now we normally do. At the same time, sometimes you find maybe this patient, for example, they have lost sensation. There's a way you stimulate those sensations, like to bring back the sensation in that side. There's a way you need to guard the arm. For example, you'll find sometimes in our hospitals, in our clinic, you see someone just holding the affected side and pulling that hand. You find that the muscles are weak. You hold that hand and try to pull, or maybe by supporting this patient, you might dislocate that arm. So what you need to do, you need to get a technique. How am I going to handle this hand? How am I going to move this person so that I don't cause more harm to that? And that is where now we come in as physiotherapists, try to educate the caretaker, try to help the patient to become better or to rehabilitate him back to his position that he was before.
And these exercises, because stroke seems to be long-standing illness.
Yes.
So this exercise, you are able to teach some of them to the caretakers at home.
Yes, that's what we do. And as physios, I think for those who have encountered physiotherapies, we work very closely with the family or the caretaker, together with those who are surrounding the patient. If I just do alone, for example, I come to your place, if I'm doing home-based, I just come, work and go, I will not be helping. Maybe the moment I've left and gone, then this person who is remaining with the patient might cause some problems. I will have to teach this person, show him these are the skills and these are the exercises that you need to teach this patient, or that you can do when you are alone together. For example, if it is movement, we are trying to initiate movement in this side. Try pole, encourage the patient, move your arm from one point to another. There are those exercises that the caretaker or the person who is offering the care to the patient can do. And then there are those skilled or specialized exercise and treatment that me as a physiotherapy, I need to be there to do. So we work collaboratively as a team together with the caretaker.
All right. That's good. Now let's talk about something else that you also mentioned as part of what you take care of daily. After surgery, which role does physiotherapy play after surgery? So let's pick an example of a patient who has had surgery because they had a fractured bone. So the surgery is done and now they are back.
Okay, as physiotherapists, when we come to surgical or post-surgery, most of the time what we try to do, or what we come in, like you as a doctor, you will have taken the initiative of correcting the fracture. Maybe if it's an implant or anything that you've done, you've corrected. Now, the big burden now remains to a physiotherapist to help this person achieve the functions or the activities. So if we don't come in, higher chances we are going to get a lot of secondary complications, like maybe stiffness because someone is avoiding to try move or to try get the limb into action. So we might get stiffness. At the same time, you might get maybe the muscle atrophy, whereby the muscle are reducing because they are not doing the function they are supposed to do, and all that. So as physios, when we come in, first step is to try, first of all, explain to the patient what we expect or the procedure. Two, we need to teach this. For example, if it's a fracture of the limb, that is the leg, it can be the leg or anywhere, whichever the kind of fracture that this patient has sustained. This person has lost movement. He can't walk that same day. So we have to do gait training. When it comes to gait training, first step, we will have to see, is this patient able to walk without any assistive devices or anything, or is able to, he will need some assistive devices. So if we've seen he needs assistive devices, then we come in, for example, prescribe the auxiliary crutches, or if it's a walking stick, or if it's the tripod and all that. So we have to measure, because you don't just give auxiliary crutches and say, that one will be enough. We have to look at the size, then teach this person, for example, depending with the doctor's advice and the kind of fracture that is sustained, there are those that you will do weight bearing, where you can put weight on the affected limb, or toe touch. At the same time, you have to walk this person, like show him, this is how you do, this is how you utilize this assistive device that we've given you. After we've done that, at the same time, like they run simultaneously. There are those exercises that this person needs to do while on bed, or even during the movement. For example, if it is to prevent stiffness, as much as the limb has been affected, there are those range of motion that he needs to do. Like for example, if it's the knee, like you need to keep it moving. There are those that you can do passively. What I mean by passively is that the physiotherapy is the one trying to help and do, or there are those that he can do active assisted. He's trying, and me as a physiotherapy, I'm trying to help. At the same time, there are those that he can do inactively, that the patient can do independently.
Yeah.
So all these, like these are steps that we are going to take. And it's a whole process, and you find we can get a very quick recovery of the patient if we involve a physiotherapy in the whole process as it's taking around.
Wow.
Yes.
That's quite an elaborate way. Yeah. Now, what role does a physiotherapist play in our day-to-day lives? I don't have any fracture. Don't have any back pain. How can I benefit from your services?
Yeah, any person. Physiotherapy is for the whole population, for everyone. Physiotherapy is not only for sick or only for those who are affected. We come in, for example, that's why you will find physiotherapy in the football clubs or in athletic camps. You will find physiotherapy in the community, what we call community-based rehabilitation or community-based activities. So a physiotherapy, as we've said, like we are focusing on function and movement, utilizing the physical activity. Maybe you can present to me, you come to me, you want maybe exercise prescription on how to become fit. Then a physiotherapy is able to guide you or to prescribe these exercises that will help you maybe, for example, gain fitness. For example, the endurance. If maybe you walk slightly or just a few distance, you are tired and all that, there are exercises that you can work to build on that endurance. A physiotherapy can be able to prescribe those kinds of exercises. At the same time, maybe for example in injury prevention and all that, you are an athlete, you want to prevent some injuries, because physiotherapy understand the body movement and understand like which structures need to be recruited in this activity and which ones or in which way you need to perform or to do it, then it can be able to advise you the kind, for example, of shoes, the kind of attire that you need to take, and which movement or which type of, for example, maneuver you need to take for you to prevent in that. And that's why you will find even sometimes you get physiotherapy in companies. They are doing occupational physiotherapy where you just try to advise people on how to do some activities to prevent some injuries. Or you are there in the community to try to do health promotion. Like for example, if you are diabetic, these are some of the activities. Or if you are just normal and you want to prevent hypertension and you want to prevent some let's say, lifestyle diseases, then these are the activities to get.
Okay.
Yes.
That you've already mentioned, but that was our next discussion point about how relevant is physiotherapy in the corporate world, in the offices, in the companies, and the related. So we are going to take that on our next session, but right now we will take a break. When we're back, we'll discuss that.
Tonight, former IEBC chair Wafula Chebukati insists that the technology used in last year's election was above board.
The paper highlights the importance of speed, transparency, and auditability in making the tally reports publicly available, and sets a standard that can be applied to election practice in other countries in the region.
Hitting out at his critics, including Third Way Alliance Party leader Dr. Ekuru Okot. Interior CS Kithure Kindiki vows to rein in on those causing the country's passport crisis.
Many Kenyans have suffered from that place. And we'll take very drastic action. If need be, we'll seal off the place and declare it a scene of crime.
And parents of Uasin Gishu students in the Finland education saga now threaten to begin the process of impeachment for the county leadership.
We are going to marshal our wazazi na wengine tuanze kuweka second adjust to impeach the governor and the senator.
They say they will take their anger to the streets if nothing is done fast. And tonight on Insight, we talk about how to make sure that our food is healthy and plentiful, even with the vagaries of climate change.
How much? For a ride?
We're going to town, not another continent!
For that price, we'd rather walk.
It's a rip-off! Our flight was cheaper.
Seriously, don't you have a heart?
That thing? Of course it doesn't. Rather deal with real people. Download InDrive, agree on a fair price with your driver, and say goodbye to unfair rides. InDrive, people driven.
Hi, hi!
Get ready for a heartwarming experience like never before. Starting this Sunday on Safer Sunday, you are cordially invited to the Royal Assembly Church.
When you understand spiritual principles, you take charge on the earthly realm. Jesus paid the price for you and I to bring us unto the Father, to have a relationship with
You
Him.
can pursue any other thing in life, but if you are not in sync with God's plan for your own life, you will not have fulfillment.
Join us at the Royal Assembly Church and let the spirit of togetherness fill your heart. Welcome to the Mwai Kibaki Convention Center, the premier events venue. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed to meet all your needs, from large-scale conferences to intimate meetings and everything in between. Located in the heart of Thika, the Mwai Kibaki Convention Center offers stunning views of the city skyline and is easily accessible from all major transportation hubs. Our facility features ample parking, free Wi-Fi, advanced audiovisual equipment, and our technical team is always on hand to ensure your event runs smoothly and seamlessly. Don't take our word for it. Make your next event unforgettable at the Mwai Kibaki Convention Center. Contact us today for bookings and reservations. Email multimedia@mku.ac.ke or call us on 0708 212204 or 0727 441733 or 0721 438 629 to learn more about our services and book your event.
Radio 47 tuko nawe mchana kutwa na usiku kucha. 101.8 Garissa. Tunavuma na bado.
Alright, so welcome back. You are watching Body Garage, the Art of Wellbeing. I'm your host, Dr. Sheps, and we are talking about physiotherapy. So right now we want to talk about how relevant is physiotherapy services in the corporate world. You're working in the offices and in the company. How relevant are these services?
Okay, great. I think physiotherapy is very relevant in corporate world, as we are aware, like we find the healthcare is changing, and that means we need even to change our approach and how we do. We can see, like for example, the WHO is trying to advocate for primary healthcare, whereby you go to the root where the problem is coming from. So, and as physiotherapists, you find that we go now to the corporate. For example, you can go to the offices, try educate people on ergonomics. And what I mean by ergonomics is the proper utilization of the machines or appliances around you. For example, if they are the seats, are seats appropriate for your work or maybe the kind of work that you do? If, for example, you are working in a gym or that, is everything set for that, so that we can try prevent the injuries that might come or that we might get. For example, if we want to prevent the low back pains. So there are a few things that we can address in our offices or in our workplaces that we can sort that. At the same time, if we go maybe, for example, outside there in companies or maybe in industries, you will find a lot of people, maybe, for example, they are using poor techniques or lifting techniques. Even if it is not lifting techniques, for example, you find someone is seated or is standing here, some machines that he needs to operate is at the back, that he needs to turn, keep turning and all that. So we go there, try to educate them on the right mechanism or the right utilization of this body mechanics or body movements, and then how maybe, for example, to minimize the problems or movement from one point to another, so that we try prevent those injuries that might come due to our work related. So, and I think that is where we come in a lot as physiotherapists. Yeah.
All right. That's quite elaborate. Now, the extremes of age. We are talking about the children and the older, the senior citizen. Yeah. Any special thing about your approach as a physiotherapist to this, like children? Do children need physiotherapies, under what circumstances?
Yes, that's very key, Daktari, and children need physiotherapy. The reason why I say so is because, children are developing. There are those, maybe, for example, that they have developmental issues, that they haven't achieved their milestones. As a physiotherapist, you come in there and try to help this child try to achieve some milestone that he has not gotten. That is what we call habilitation. Like there are some activities or some milestone that you are expected to get in a certain age. For example, a child might be 6 months and is not able maybe to do reach activities. So that is when now a physiotherapy comes in to try help this child maybe achieve some of these activities or maybe the reach out activities. There are those who are born maybe with some complications. For example, those who have CPs, cerebral palsy, like they can't move, they can't control their trunk. We utilize the Swiss ball, what you can see, like the blue ones, like we try to develop maybe some core stabilization for this child. So as a physio, like you will find is all round, like beginning from birth of the child up to old age, the geriatric one, the ones who cannot, when old age comes, now you go back like to become like a child. So as a physio, there are very crucial role that you do to children to help in the developmental milestone or in the growth of a child. At the same time, we know children love play. And as a parent, when you see your child is not able to play or is not able to do some activities, it's a concern to you. You can come to a physiotherapy, you can reach to a physiotherapist, and he will be able to guide you. And where he finds that maybe, for example, we need to work together, there's another profession that maybe in future we'll welcome someone or we'll discuss about that, occupational therapist, who will help this child also to grow. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now, talking about the experience of the older people and exercise, what is your take as a physiotherapist on older people and exercising? There are some will say no, you should not. The others will say yes, you should. Yeah.
So age, first of all, should not limit your activities and should not prevent you from doing exercises. The only thing that we normally advise our clients, that is, for example, if they are those old age, like there are some precautions that they need to take. Because as you get old, you find yourself, you get a wear and tear of your body. So there are those exercises that are tailor-made for old age. For instance, we know the old age, they have balance issues. They can't be very stable like us of the middle age or some of us who are young. So for that group of people, we call them like the special group. Like there are special considerations that we need to take. Like there are some exercises that they can do to improve their balances. They can work on endurance exercises, for example, walking or running, depending with the level of this person. So you'll find the exercise will be individual basis. Like you've come as a geriatric, there is that person who is able to run, there is that one who is not able to do that. But now we will tailor-made your prescription or exercise prescription specifically to you.
After an assessment?
After an assessment. Assessment is key. That is very key. We need to put that.
Yeah. All right. Now, let's talk about the women also. Do women, and in this case, I'll be a bit particular. After birth, I think there are usually some issues with adjustment of the mother after giving birth. Maybe even sometimes there are injuries that happen after giving birth. Does physiotherapy come in to help with that?
Yes, it does come. Daktari, I think this is a very broad topic, and there is a lot that we need to break down as physiotherapists. And this is a very upcoming area. We call it women health. And now from the World Physiotherapy Congress, there's a suggestion to change it to become a pelvic health issue. That you find during the process, for example, of when you are expectant. So there are a lot of changes that happen. There are a lot of hormonal changes that happen in a woman's body. Yeah. This even puts changes maybe to your structures, like for example to the muscles, to the bony structures and all that. So after delivery or even during the whole process of gestation or carrying the pregnancy until delivery, there are a lot of these changes. And as physiotherapists, they come in now under women health or what we call pelvic health. And you find that under the pelvis, like in your own pelvis, whether man or...
the reproductive
area. The reproductive area, you find it is just held by muscles.
Yeah.
And during birth, these muscles are affected. So you will find others, maybe for example, after delivery, they are having what we call urinary incontinence. Someone cannot hold the urine. There are those, maybe for example, they can't hold even the poo-poo or the feces, like it just passes, it can't taste. Sometimes in those cases as physiotherapy, you come in to try help this patient or this person on how to strengthen these muscles so that they can go back to the position or to try hold. At the same time, like even after birth, you find there are those who will have maybe, for example, the weakness of the abdominal muscles. So you need to strengthen the abdominal muscles to go back to normal or to hold. Others, you'll find them tying, like they tie with a lasso. Sometimes you tie after you open that lasso, everything goes back to normal. So it's good to utilize the natural means of strengthening and holding it. So just to put it, like there is a lot that can be shared in women health. From the whole process during pregnancy until after birth and all that, physiotherapy plays a role in every stage of it until the end where you are at the back of your position.
I think that is really helpful because I think ladies are a bit very particular and more keen about their health as opposed to men, unfortunately. So I think that's going to be really helpful to them. So you now know that if you're a lady and you're expectant and after giving birth you experience some feelings that your body is not as it was, then you can find an experienced physiotherapy or some physiotherapists who specialize in that to help your body try to tighten up to get back to close to how it was previously.
And just as you mentioned about specialized, there are all those specialists, and there is one that is called that pelvic health. There are some institutions previously they used to offer higher national diploma in pelvic health, or you can do your master's in pelvic health. And where I work at Hamreth International University, there is that specialty, that pelvic health coming up, whereby you can be a specialist and go offer those services because our people are suffering because of such. You know, people are shy. Someone will not come to a man, to his husband or to the man and tell you, I'm loose, I can't control this. So we can work on that.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate sharing your experience and your knowledge in all this.
Thank you very much, and you are much welcome. We are ready to share more as physiotherapists, and you can reach any physiotherapy or reach to us, and we'll be ready to educate and to share the information and even to offer the services to you, for we know health is better. Like once you are healthy, then you are wealthy. You can have all that. And there's one quote that we normally say, that a doctor can make your life, or he can make it better, but a physiotherapy will make it worth living. So you are able to do that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've come to the end of our discussion today. My name is Dr.